MSW Media.
News with swearing. Daily beans, daily beans. Daily beans, daily beans.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Beans for Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. Today, 2 Illinois National Guard members are speaking out against their deployment. Lawyers have alleged a cover-up after the shooting of an unarmed black man by a federal officer in D.C. Turbulence caused by Hurricane Melissa forced NOAA to abort a flight into the eye of the storm as it makes landfall in Jamaica as a Category 5. Trump cuts hindered warnings for the Alaska storm that displaced hundreds of people. U.S. military officials have been ordered to sign non-disclosure agreements over the deployment to South America, and Democratic states are suing over Trump's suspension of SNAP benefits. I'm Allison Gill.
And I'm Dana Goldberg.
Hey, Dana. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday to you, my friend. How you holding up?
I'm holding up great. I am flying home soon, and I'm going to be out for the beans tomorrow. You're going to hold down the fort for us while I'm traveling, so thank you for that, my friend.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm happy to cover you. You always cover me. In fact, you're going to have to in the next week. So everyone, just know we've got a couple solo flights going for Allison and myself in the coming week, but we always have you covered.
Yes. And then starting December 1st, we're going to be releasing a new podcast on video with me and DG. And you can check that out wherever you get your video pods. And we're going to be releasing it a month early to our patrons starting November 2nd so that you can help us name it, build it, get in on the ground floor. And then once it goes public, you're going to get it ad free and early. So if you want to sign up to be a patron to help us do that, our first ever video podcast, you can do that at patreon.com/MullerSheWrote. All right. So first of all, I am really, really scared for Jamaica and other islands right now because Hurricane Melissa has made landfall near New Hope, Jamaica. It's 185 miles per hour, gusts up to 252. It's a Category 5 hurricane, according to the National Hurricane Center. It's going to track directly over Jamaica for the next few hours. This is on Tuesday as we're reporting this. It's bringing catastrophic winds, flooding, rain, and life-threatening storm surges. Now, it's going to cause catastrophic damage. That's Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness telling CNN. It's catastrophic. The nation has never taken a hit from a Category 5, with a UN agency describing it as the storm of the century.
Jesus.
So Melissa is responsible already for 7 deaths, 3 in Jamaica during storm preparations, 3 in Haiti, and 1 in the Dominican Republic. And so hearts and minds and all the love to everyone in the path of this storm.
Yeah, absolutely, Allison. Oh my gosh. And the Times reports a hurricane hunter, by the way. So there's flights that go and they hunt these hurricanes, which honestly, I get. They have to track, get data. Some people are storm chasers, but these are like legit hunters, and they get data for us that they had tried to enter the eye of the hurricane that we just talked about, Hurricane Melissa. They abruptly aborted that flight on Monday after the crew encountered severe turbulence, and they were forced to abandon their mission to collect that data on how strong the storm had become. Conditions were too dangerous to fly into it, to do the work, even for the people who fly into hurricanes for a living. This isn't normal, people. The storms are getting worse. They're getting more frequent. They're getting earlier in the season.
Yeah, and NOAA has 2 planes in their fleet.
And this one is sort of later, but yeah.
Right. And they have 2 planes in their fleet, Kermit and Piggy.
Oh.
And this was Kermit. He's already had his wings replaced once. These are pretty old planes. They're getting close to the end of their usability. But these are people, they do this at NOAA for a living. They fly into the eye of hurricane. So it's not like, Bob out in his private jet trying to get information from a hurricane. Right. These are the planes that are built to do this, flown by the people who do this for a living, and they had to abort because it was so turbulent. Yeah. And that's horrifying. That's frightening. This is going to be a devastating storm. Yet all of our resources are going toward ICE and Customs and Border Protection operations, because the administration is also systematically dismantling Biden's climate bill. And I'm sure any rebuilding contracts in these areas are going to go to some company where his idiot kids sit on the board, and they'll soak up our tax dollars in return for shoddy or no work. You know what I mean? Like what happened in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. And there also this, which is just Manning the Guardian's reporting that a faltered federal response to one of the worst storms in Alaska's history. That caused hundreds of people to become homeless. We saw clips of it, but just cities abandoned, communities abandoned. It's drawing further scrutiny over the Trump administration's efforts to dismantle federal weather and climate protections. In addition to the delayed federal response that had, there's a majority of Western Alaska's weather balloon network that was not even operating during the landfall of the storm that weekend. Right, because of staffing constraints inflicted by the Trump administration. The crisis has drawn attention to the region's worsening vulnerability to rising sea levels due to climate crisis and to the Trump administration's cuts to federal grants aimed at helping the region mitigate these kind of disaster risks. In particular, there's a $20 million Environmental Protection Agency grant that was terminated by Trump, by his administration earlier this year, that was intended in part to improve flood protections to the same communities that got hit last week by this horrible storm.
Yeah, and he's approving things late, and Kristi Noem has a $100,000 ceiling on stuff that she has to approve herself personally.
But don't worry, she's got 2 new jets, so she's doing fine.
Yeah, Corey Lewandowski's making most of the decisions anyway. It's awful. So we're dismantling our climate protections and failing to help those who are victims and survivors of climate crisis issues. So all of this is happening. And we're keeping our eye on Melissa and holding everyone there in our hearts. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew about that. And we'll continue to talk more about it this week. All right, we have more news to get to today. Let's hit the hot notes. Hot notes. All right. First up, this story is from the Washington Post. It's pretty infuriating, though not surprising. A federal agent, this is a member of the HSI, right? Homeland Security Investigative Police. Right? These guys, They shot an unarmed black man during a traffic stop earlier this month while working alongside D.C. police officers. And that's according to 3 of the men's lawyers who accused city police of misconduct because the gunfire, it's not mentioned in the incident report at all.
Oh, my God.
And a D.C. police officer told a judge, testified under oath, that he was instructed by a superior officer not to document the shooting in the court record.
Wow.
Now, all charges against this man have been dropped, but this is a huge red flag here. On October 17th, D.C. police were driving a marked cruiser through the Northeast Washington when they spotted a Dodge SUV with dark tinted windows and missing the front tag. Not the back tag, the front tag. They were patrolling in collaboration with officers from 5 federal agencies, including the FBI, Customs and Border Protection, all as part of the Make D.C. Safe Again initiative. The officers caught up with the Dodge and, according to the records, believed the driver was trying to flee. At some point, a Homeland Security investigations officer shot into the car at Philip Brown,
oh my God,
33. D.C. police confirmed that in a statement to the Post, but neither D.C. police nor the Department of Homeland Security have explained why the agent fired in the first place. Court documents say the Dodge engine revved and started moving toward the officers. Lawyers say a judge dismissed all charges against Brown, ruling that there was insufficient evidence that he tried to flee. They shot him because he revved his engine and then left the entire gunfire part out of their report. Civil rights attorney Bernadette Armand and civil rights attorney E. Page White say the case symbolizes the potentially fatal consequences of the local police department's collaboration with federal agents. Quote, miraculously, every shot missed Mr. Brown, they said in a statement Monday. They declined to make Brown available for comment, but provided images of his car showing what appear to be 2 bullet holes in the driver's side window and 2 in the passenger seat. Brown's criminal attorney, Quo-Miko Judkins, said the Homeland Security officer shot at Brown, who she said had been headed to the store to get milk for his kids. DHS on Monday didn't answer questions about the shooting after requesting to see photos of the bullet-punctured car. D.C. police officer Jason Sterling testified in a D.C. Superior Court hearing that he was told by a department leader not to mention the shooting in court documents. The Post reviewed the police affidavit and public incident report from the traffic stop and confirmed neither contained anything about the gunshots.
Wow.
Judkins said she did not receive police body camera footage ahead of the October 21st hearing, something that's very unusual. and she only found out about the shooting when she went to the jail to meet with her client. She also said prosecutors offered Brown a plea deal that would have reduced the charge to a misdemeanor for reckless driving, but told her they would revoke the offer if Brown went forward with his preliminary hearing. Quote, "This screams of a cover-up to me," Judkins said. "I was puzzled and then in disbelief when there was absolutely no mention of the shooting." According to court records, the officers observed Brown's Dodge on Benning Road, and when the officers in the marked cruiser pulled behind the car, Brown switched lanes. One of the D.C. police officers alerted the federal partners that the vehicle was going to flee because he switched lanes. The other D.C. police officer then moved out of the way to allow the supporting federal partners to stop the vehicle. They aren't supposed to do that police stuff. Now, during the investigation, Judkins, the lawyer, said police found a bullet hole in the collar of the jacket that Brown was wearing. And he also spent 3 nights in jail after a judge, whom Judkins said declined to consider the shooting in their ruling because it wasn't in the court records.
Oh, my God.
Ordered him held in custody. He changed lanes, apparently revved his engine, and that justified the shooting. It was kept out of the court documents. That made him stay in jail for the weekend.
Unreal.
Yeah, this is supremely fucked up, and I hope that they do a further investigation into this.
I agree. Thanks so much, Allison. Next up, we got one from Reuters. U.S. military officials involved with President Trump's expanding operations in Latin America have been asked to sign non-disclosure agreements. This is, I know. So we're going to do a bunch of legal shit. You're not allowed to say anything. 3 U.S. officials have actually said that. That's what they reported. This is development, by the way, that raises new questions about a military buildup that Venezuela fears may lead to an invasion. Unreal. The step is highly unusual, given that the U.S. military officials are already required to shield national security secrets from the public view, and it comes as lawmakers in Congress said that they are being kept in the dark about key aspects of the mission. The officials who spoke to Reuters, of course on the condition of anonymity, they did not know how many members of the U.S. Defense Department had been asked to sign the agreements, and they didn't offer further details on the scope of the NDAs. The U.S. military has carried out at least 13 strikes against alleged drug vessels, mostly in the Caribbean, since early September, killing about 57 people. 57 people, mostly with no proof that they're actually smuggling the drugs. The Pentagon has provided few details about the people targeted, but has acknowledged some of them include people from Venezuela, Colombia, and Ecuador. Kegseth has taken a series of steps to try to control the flow of information since taking over the Pentagon in January. He told Pentagon staff they must obtain permission before interacting with members of Congress. That's according to an October 15th memo. He's also launched leak investigations and demanded Pentagon-based journalists sign a new press access policy, taking away the credentials of those who don't sign it. Now, this is just breaking from the Times, by the way. The Trump administration launched another round of deadly strikes on vessels it accused of smuggling drugs. They've killed another 14 people in 4 boats on Monday in its growing military campaign off the Central and South America coasts. This is from the defense secretary. That's what he said on Tuesday. Geggs has said that the strikes, 3 of them, by the way, took place in international waters, and that there has been 1 survivor. They bring the overall death toll, as I said, to 57 in the campaign.
No due process.
And Trump was like, we're just going to kill people. Literally, quote unquote, we're just going to kill people.
My God. We're going to keep an eye on this, obviously. I mean, this is just murder. This is state-sanctioned murder. Most of these folks are just fishermen, civilians.
Yeah.
All right, next up from CBS, 2 Illinois National Guard members told CBS they would refuse to obey federal orders to deploy in Chicago as part of Trump's controversial immigration enforcement. That's a rare act of open defiance from within the military ranks. Quote, "It's disheartening to be forced to go against your community members and your neighbors." That's Staff Sergeant Demi Palasek, a Latina Guardswoman and state legislative candidate from Illinois' 13th District. She says it feels illegal. This is not what we signed up to do. Both Palachek and Captain Dylan Bleha, who is running for Congress in the same district, described growing unease among Guard members after the White House federalized 500 troops, including members of the Illinois and Texas National Guard, to secure federal immigration facilities and personnel in the Chicago area. Quote, I signed up to defend American people and protect the Constitution. That's what Bleha said. When we have somebody in power who's actively dismantling our rights, free speech, due process, freedom of the press, it's really hard to be a soldier right now. Asked if she would refuse a direct order to deploy to Chicago, Palachuk didn't hesitate. She said, absolutely. I would definitely say no. I'm not going to go against my community members, my family, and my culture. I believe this is a time to be on the right side of history. Look at the 1930s and 1940s in Germany, Bleha said. There's a point where if you didn't stand up to the Gestapo, aren't you just actively one of them? A federal judge on Wednesday delayed the deployment of the National Guard in Chicago indefinitely until a final ruling is issued or the Supreme Court steps in and rules on the matter. Roughly 200 green card holders serve in the Illinois National Guard, with 160 legal permanent residents in the state's Army National Guard and 30 in the state's Air National Guard. And Palachuk said those folks are in sheer panic. They're choosing between standing up for their community or losing everything. Their legal status, their path to citizenship. Now, U.S. federal law generally prohibits undocumented immigrants from enlisting in the armed forces, including the Army National Guard or the Air National Guard. But for green card holders, military service helps expedite U.S. citizenship under longstanding federal programs. So, something to keep in mind.
Thanks so much, AG. This next story is from Reuters. A coalition of Democratic-led states filed a lawsuit on Tuesday to stop Trump's administration from suspending food aid benefits. It's going to happen on November 1st amid the ongoing U.S. government shutdown. Attorneys general and governors from 25 states in the District of Columbia filed the lawsuit in Boston federal court. Well, I wonder where those governors are from. You think they're from? I wonder where they're from. Yeah. After the U.S. Department of Agriculture said it would not use the $6 billion in contingency funds to pay for supplemental nutritional assistance programs. The money's there, everyone.
That's what it's for.
They didn't just run out of money. That's what it's for. Okay, so we're all talking about food stamps here. And this is a quote. The federal government has the money to continue funding SNAP benefits. They're choosing to harm millions of families across the country already struggling to make ends meet. This is from Massachusetts Attorney General Andrea Joy Campbell, said that in a social media post. The lawsuit argues the suspension of benefits is arbitrary and being carried out in a violation of the law and regulations governing the program, which requires that assistance under the program shall be furnished to all eligible households. The lawsuit says the Food and Nutrition Act of 2008 makes it clear that the contingency fund should be used when necessary to carry out program operations. The plaintiffs, who are led by the attorneys general of Massachusetts, California, Arizona, and Minnesota, say a failure by the federal government to issue monthly food assistance payments as a result of a lapse in appropriations would mark a first in the SNAP program's 60-year history. These motherfuckers, I'm so tired of this. The states say that they will seek to have a judge issue a temporary restraining order forcing the USDA to use available contingency funds for November SNAP benefits and ensure that millions of families do not lose access to food assistance in the coming days. The case has been assigned to Adira Talwani. And by the way, that's an Obama appointee, so at least I'm glad that happened.
Yeah. November 1st. All that ends.
Yeah.
I know a lot of, aside from this lawsuit, a lot of our Democratic governors are backfilling the gap with our own state funds. But we pay federal taxes to cover this.
Yeah.
Instead, our federal taxes are being used to murder innocent people in the waters off of Venezuela and conduct mass deportation of our neighbors here at home. It's infuriating. I'm so sorry, everyone. I wish I had better news about that, but
yeah, me too.
We have each other and we keep fighting. We keep moving forward. So in that vein, we really, really need your good news. Send us all your good news at dailybeanspod.com and click on contact and we'll go over it right after this break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's AG. As you know, I've had my Helix mattress for years now, and it's still one of the smartest choices I've ever made for my overall health, not just my sleep. I first heard about Helix from friends who suddenly went from bad sleepers to bragging about how much good sleep they were getting. I was kind of jelly, so I figured it was worth trying, even though I was pretty skeptical. But the change was obvious almost immediately. Before Helix, I was dealing with constant back pain, anxiety, stress, tossing and turning, waking up and drenched in sweat. And I was groggy the whole next day. I just wasn't fully myself. And my Apple Watch made it clearer. My sleep data showed the pattern: short light cycles, no deep sleep, way too many wake-ups. And within the first week of switching to Helix, though, all of that turned around. My deep sleep numbers jumped. I stayed asleep longer. Every recovery score I checked in the morning kept getting better over time. And seeing the improvement in the hard data really convinced me I made the right choice. So now that the weather is getting cooler and I'm spending more time inside, I appreciate my mattress even more. After years of use, the support is still perfect. It doesn't sag anywhere, no dips, just reliable comfort every night that somehow stays cool when I need to be cool and somehow is warm when I want it to be cozy. All the frustrations I had with my old mattress disappeared. No overheating, no waking up hurting, no tossing and turning. Helix is one of the few products that actually lived up to the hype for me. And even after all this time, I still wake up grateful for how good I feel. So go to helixsleep.com/dailybeans for 20% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/dailybeans for 20% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. That's helixsleep.com/dailybeans. Why keep overpaying for wireless when you could drop all the frustration? Mint Mobile proudly says no to contracts, says no to outrageous bills, no to overages, and no to secret hidden fees. They cut out the BS and make saving money ridiculously easy. So I want to thank Mint Mobile for supporting this episode. Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dailybeans. If you're tired of opening your phone bill and feeling personally attacked, Mint Mobile is the way to go. Their plans begin at $15 a month. That includes unlimited talk and text plus free data on the biggest 5G network in the country. You don't need to buy a new phone either. You can use your old phone. Bring the one you already have. You get to keep your number too. And you get to keep all your contacts. It's simple, affordable, service without hidden nonsense. We had a producer test Mint Mobile to see if it was easy, just as easy as they say, and he found an old unlocked Android phone that had been abandoned in a drawer. He signed up, got the SIM card in just a couple of days, popped it in, followed a few quick steps, and boom, he had a whole second line working perfectly. He absolutely loves it. So if you're ready to say yes to saying no, make the switch at mintmobile.com/dailybeans. That's mintmobile.com/dailybeans. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extras. See Mint Mobile for details. Everybody, welcome back. It's time for the good news.
Who likes good news? Everyone? Then good news, everyone.
Good news. And we could really use your good news these days. If you have any good news, no matter how big, how small, whether it happened yesterday or when you were a kid, we would love to hear your stories and just share in your joy. Please send us all your good news stories. You can even send shout outs, maybe a shout out to a spouse or a loved one, a partner, business partner, a nonprofit that's doing great work that you want to shine a light on, a small business in your area that could use a boost. We love self shout outs. Tell us what you're doing. Tell us what you're making and creating to get through these times. You might just help someone, even if just one person gets comfort from that or picks up a new hobby and is able to do some self-care because of your good news. That's all that matters, right? That's what makes the huge difference.
Definitely.
Send it all to us. You can also give a shout out to a government program that's helped you or a loved one. We'd love to hear about that because they're all going away. All of our great government programs that we've worked so hard over decades to get. We want to hear all of the good news stories and anecdotes because that's how we keep those ideas alive, is we tell the stories. So send it all to us. dailybeanspod.com, click on contact. All you got to do to have your submission read on the air is pay your pod pet tariff, which at this point means just attach a photo. We don't care what it is. It can be your pet. It can be an adoptable pet in your area. It can be a random animal on the internet. We especially love baby animals. It can be a bird watching photo, which is either a bird or you and your family and friends flipping the bird to Trump buildings or Musk dealerships or whoever you don't like that we also probably don't like. We'd love to see all that. You can also just send a photo of what you're making or creating, maybe your garden, show us what you're growing, maybe pictures of a rally you've been to, your favorite No Kings signs, some overpass signs that you love, photos of you and your friends writing postcards, making signs, sign making parties, anything at all. Send it to us. dailybeanspod.com, click on contact. First up is your good trouble. Your good trouble today comes from Stacy, pronoun she and her. Good news from the Constitution state. That would be Connecticut, where on Monday, October 27th, a judge dismissed charges against Catherine Hines, a leader in the Visibility Brigade. She was arrested twice once at 6 a.m. at her own home by state troopers who didn't like her organizing overpass protests. In a state with glaring electronic billboards, this highway distraction complaint was obvious BS, and using the public sidewalk is not trespassing, charges they tried to make against her. Cheering for free speech and Katherine Hines. We're going to have a link to the local news show in the show notes. And a phalanx of First Amendment Katherine Hines supporters cheered her on outside the New Haven courthouse. Here's photos of some favorites to pay my pet tax. Longtime listener, so appreciate starting my day with your voices. So this is a good trouble part. This is the Visibility Brigade. It's a movement that was born in 2020 on an overpass in Paramus, New Jersey, out of a frustration due to lack of physical messaging in the real world about the existential crisis we face as a nation. There are now hundreds of Visibility Brigade groups across the country, with new ones forming every day. You'll find our nonviolent pro-democracy message posted on overpasses, chalked on sidewalks, on the sides of our Be Brave parade caravans, and all other public spaces. So you can look into a local chapter at visibilitybrigade.com/group-directory. We'll also have a link in the show notes there. Or you can use their toolkit to start your own chapter. So let's get out there and do some good trouble. Look at this photo. It's fantastic. An inflatable bee, a chicken, a bunny, and a unicorn. Thank you so much, Stacy, for that good news and good trouble.
Yes, this is from Melissa, pronounced she and her. Master's thesis title with location redacted. Post-depositional weathering of cave sediments in a certain location that shall not be named. A certain cave in south central Missouri. All right. Pod pet tax. Tuxedo Cat is Malachite. Malachite. Dana Goldberg. Malachite. What the hell? Gray White is Micah. Both shelter cats. Micah was saved from a shelter where he was on the kill list. Oh, I'm glad you saved that baby's life.
Look at that Tuxie. Oh, they're both so very adorable. Okay, so post-depositional weathering of cave sediments. I don't know what depositional means, but that's fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm going to look it up. Thank you for sharing your master's thesis with us, Melissa. All right, next up from Heather, Je suis fatigue, pronouns she and her. This is one of our amazing Hall of Fame patrons over on Cleanup, by the way. Hello, AG and DG. My good news is that as a patron, I get to see your new video podcast launch on my birthday, November 2nd. How did you know? Thank you. All right, Heather. Scorpio, my BFF's friend, is also November 2nd. For my pod pet tax, I have a mugshot of the groundhog that ate my David Phlox tall white August blooming flower. He's a cute little shit, isn't he? Oh my God, look at him. Alan.
He's a cute little shit.
Dave. Oh God. So cute. Thank you, Heather. And appreciate your patronage. Can't wait for your first birthday video podcast episode to drop on Patreon.
All right, this is for Erin H, pronouns she and her. Just writing real quick with a suggestion for the new video pod. How about Sanity with Profanity? We all agree you ladies keep up sane, and we love the swearing. Plus, it's full disclosure on its face. I've been a listener and supporter from the beginning, and I'm honored to have been lucky enough to watch this community and media empire grow in real time. Truly, from the depths of my soul, thank you. And Erin, absolutely, AG, that's a testament to what you have created and what you have built, and it's pretty fucking extraordinary. I'm happy to be a part of it, just a part of it.
Oh, you're a big, huge part of it, and thank you all so much for that. I rarely ask for favors, but here's a favor for everybody listening today. Go listen to the Martin Sheen podcast. I love it. And I think you will too.
Yeah.
So go listen, subscribe. It's free to subscribe. That helps with the charts. You know, I'm not sure how that all works, Dana. It's a mystery to me. But I think if you subscribe for free to podcasts, that helps the charts and helps get the podcast in front of more people. It's our newest thing.
I'm sure.
I'm very proud of it, and I'm very honored to host somebody like Martin Sheen on our network. And I really absolutely fell in love with the podcast when I first heard it. So if you get a chance, do me a small favor and check it out, because I think you'll enjoy it. And in return, you get to listen to an amazing podcast. All right, next up from Katrina, pronouns she and her. Full disclosure, I was the publicist for this book. but I'm a freelancer and my contract is up now. So I'm just a person who is happy for Felipe or Felipe. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Hi, Beans Queens. My good news is about a guest you had on earlier this year. You'll remember that Felipe Torres Medina, the author of America Let Me In. Yes. And a writer for Stephen Colbert. Felipe is now a U.S. citizen.
That's amazing.
He appeared on The Late Show recently and did a bit called So You Think You're an American, where they celebrated his citizenship and talked about the new longer citizenship test with all the hoops that immigrants are forced to go through and all the horrible tactics this administration is using. I'm so happy to see he was able to complete this marathon. For my pod, that's such good news, Katrina. Thank you. And I didn't know you were the publicist. Well done. For my pod pet tax, I'm sending my picture of Mossy. She's my work from home office mate and walking buddy. Her bows are unused dog poop bags we find on the ground on our walks, fashionable and functional. So it's she's so pretty and makes everyone smile. Thanks for all you do to keep us sane on a daily basis. Look at this sweet baby.
So cute.
Look at the baby. That's such good news. I'm going to have to reach out now.
Yeah.
And congratulate Mr. Medina. Thank you so much for that good news. That's so cool.
Absolutely. All right. This is Disaster Diva, pronouns she and her. Hi, Allison and Dana. I was the first female police officer hired in a suburb near Seattle, Washington in 1980. Already, I love you. All right, Disaster Diva. After being hired, I was told no one wanted me there, and they did a lot to show me that's what they meant. 5 years later, they hired a second female. Jesus, 5 years. She left after a few years to go to Seattle Police. I haven't seen her in decades. Last time was when we were both deployed to a real riot in November of 1999 during the WTO protests in Seattle. But then we were in riot gear. This picture is of us finding each other at the No Kings rally last week near Seattle.
Holy
I spent 35 years in public service and she did 38. And now we can just be ourselves, protesting the unlawful actions of the Trump administration. We are actually believers in law and order, not this fake shit that's happening in the DOJ and ICE. Love your pods. I'm the short one on the right. You guys fucking rock. This is
so
awesome.
fucking cool. You just run into each other. First police women in this Seattle, Washington suburb in 1980.
Wow.
And you run into each other 35 years later. No, 45 years later.
That's... Okay, I want to screen that 1980 was 45 years ago.
Yeah.
That's
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I have, my math is biased when it comes to how old I am. So that's why I said 35.
1980 is 45 years ago.
Shut up.
You shut up.
Saying it. You shut up. Why do you choose violence? But how fucking cool to run into each other at No Kings.
That's wild. I love this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Democracy, not idiocracy. Look at so very cool. Oh, that's fantastic. You ladies are amazing. Tell her to listen to the beans. And if she is already, welcome. That's so cool. All right. Next up from Janice, pronouns she and her. Thank you, Beans Queens. You're now my main source of news. I'm a relatively new listener to the Daily Beans. Welcome, Janice. But I was a Jack listener and now unjustified. Thanks for all you do. My husband, my 25-year-old granddaughter with Down syndrome, and I attended the No Kings rally in Peoria, Illinois. My granddaughter cannot read or write, but she's a registered Democrat. Now she's afraid she might lose her Medicaid to fund Republican billionaire tax cuts. The increase in amount of paperwork is going to make it difficult for Americans who can't write or read due to disability. The demonstration in Peoria was wonderful and joyful. So many cars honked and cheered us on as they drove past. Only a few shot us the bird, and we just smiled and waved at them. Here are a couple of pictures from No Kings. There's a picture of the three of us with our signs. The second picture was when I ran across our Democratic U.S. Congressman, Eric Sorensen. I plan to contact Governor Pritzker and convince him to fight back by eliminating Republican seats in Illinois. Thank you, Janice. And look at these wonderful smiling faces. Look at the hands off my Medicaid.
I love this. Yep.
Free balls for members of Congress. I love that. I've seen that.
That's fantastic. Yep.
I have seen that sign. You've made it around the internet, my friend. He didn't win. He wasn't shot. He's on the list. Another great sign. Thank you so much.
I love that one.
It's a really good one. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Thanks for sending all this in. We really need it. We need to microdose hope. And if you've got like really big good news and we want to help us macrodose hope, that's fine too. Send it to us, dailybeanspod.com, and click on contact. Again, I'll be out tomorrow. Thanks for covering for me, Dana. Do you have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
I do not. Looking forward to holding down the fort.
All right. So everybody, make sure you go subscribe to the Martin Sheen Show podcast. And what was the other thing? Oh, if you want to become a patron and watch our new video pod, sign up at patreon.com/MillerSheWrote. Those are the two things.
Also, this is a great time to write in love letters about Allison, because if you send them now, I'll have to read them on the air tomorrow. Okay, everyone have a great night.
I didn't hear any of that. I didn't hear any of it. And we'll see you tomorrow, except I won't be here. Remember that.
So it's going to be way less awkward if I'm doing all you accolades while you can't say shit.
Fuck. All right, everybody. I'll be back in your ears, though, on Friday. Dana will hold down the fort tomorrow. Until then, please take care of yourself, take care of each other, take care of the planet, take care of your mental health, and take care of your family. I've been AG.
I've been DG.
And them's the beans.
The Daily Beans is written and executive produced by Allison Gill, with additional research and reporting by Dana Goldberg. Sound design and editing is by Desiree McFarlane, with art and web design by Joelle Reeder with Moxie Design Studios. Music for The Daily Beans is written and performed by They Might Be Giants, and the show is a proud member of the MSW Media Network, a collection of creator-owned podcasts dedicated to news, politics, and justice. For more information, please visit mswmedia.com.
MSW Media.